All right, who's up?
Raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you.
A reminder, no live streaming, please.
Coach, I know a lot of your experiences in the NFL, and so I wonder, is this as extensive of a makeover as you've had to do on the defensive side of the ball since you've been a coordinator?
Actually not. In 2011 with Jacksonville, I think we had, maybe 8 or 9 new starters, and they were all free agents. And then it was coming off of a lockout deal, so we had a short training camp, so that was pretty tough. But every year there's different challenges. Every time you have a new player, you have a new defense, and so we work really hard to develop all of our guys and get them ready to go. And so I'm excited about what we might be able to do.
Now, how much when you have a player like Roquan who makes so many plays by himself, it's kind of a game changer? How much, when you know you don't have a guy that's just like him, does that change the character, the identity of the defense for this year?
Well, we talked to our guys yesterday about it. What's going to be the identity of this year's defense, and does it have anything to do with it a year ago? And so, obviously, he's a great player, but it's next man up, and so we'll rally and develop with the guys that we have, and we'll see what the identity of this defense is this year.
What's your expectation of D'Angelo Gibbs, and where's he fit in and everything?
Yeah, he's playing at the nickel spot, our star spot. He's also working at safety, and the expectation is just go out there and do what you're asked to do. Give great effort, be coachable, and work to get better every day. And that's the expectation of all of our players.
Coach, when you say next man up in terms of replacing Roquan Smith, what have you seen from those next men up, like Monty Rice and Javonte? Do you feel those guys, as a unit, are capable of replacing a guy that won the Buckets for them?
Yeah, well, I've seen these guys mature. They have a better grasp of the defensive scheme. They work really hard in the weight room to develop and have developed some chemistry within that group. And I think they're hungry. And so they're all going to get opportunities. The rep chart is going to change from day to day, and there's nothing set in stone, and we're going to play the best guys. And so, but we want to create depth, and we want as many guys to be able to help us as possible.
Given the personnel losses you all had this offseason, do you think you can maintain the level that you had last year or be better, and what are some of the keys to doing that? Well,
only time will tell, but the standard of performance and our goals haven't changed. And so we're coaching our players and trying to develop them and teach them in a way that they can reach those standards. They can live up to those standards. We always want to play great defense here, regardless of who those players are. There's always going to be changes. We're always going to have new players step in. We're going to have great players leave, and so that's our job to get them ready, and that's why we recruited well, and we expect these guys to be able to step in and play great defense for us.
Coach, you spoke about seeing people growing and maturing. What have you seen from the growth of Richard LeCount, and what do you expect from him this year?
Yeah, Richard has a much better grasp of the defensive scheme at this point, and really the details. And really the devil's in the details in our defense. And so he's been more disciplined in what we've asked him to do. He asks really good questions. He spent a lot of time in the off season studying, and I just see his overall maturity level has just improved. And so we'll see how he goes this fall camp, but I think the arrow was up with him.
Coach, you mentioned the devil in the details. How much of a teaching tool or experience did you use that 2nd and 26 breakdown? Is that something that you harp on, or is it just too painful for these guys to be brought up over and over?
Yeah, we learn from everything, whether it's good or it's bad. And so, obviously, we study it, we break it down, we know what we need to improve. We take that with us and we move on. Hopefully that'll help us down the road.
No, you talked about D'Angelo working that star position. First year you're here, it's Maurice Smith, and kind of only Maurice Smith, and then all of a sudden Lorenzo kind of helps you guys there last year, and you look at that group now and there's linebackers everywhere, working at that spot. Was that kind of a revelation a little bit for you guys to kind of figure out how versatile you could be there, or was that something that you kind of envisioned from the get-go?
Well, you know, in this day and age in football, the offenses they're so complicated and they're so diverse that you have to have different ways to defend them. And so to be able to have different body types at that position, guys with different skill sets for first and second down and also for third down and passing situations, I mean, that's what you have to have. And so we work to develop as many players at that position as we can. We want to have depth at the star position, so we work defensive backs there, and we also work linebackers at the position.
Coach, getting a guy like Jay Hayes come in, what kind of way you should kind of take him? What does that experience bring to your defensive line unit?
Yeah, well, he's played a lot of football. He's a mature guy. He's a high character guy. He's a high motor guy. He's a leader, and he's a team guy. And he's very unselfish. And so when you can add a guy like that to your roster, I mean that's like gold. And so we've been very happy with what he's done so far, and I think he's fitting well with our group.
Now, a question about sports staff. I know they help so much in recruiting, but when it comes to practicing for preparing for practice and games, Tyson Summers specifically here, but other guys, how big is that room? How much do these guys help with prep?
Yeah, they help a great deal with prep, and it's all hands on deck in preparing for our practices. Our practices are complicated. They're two spot. We have a lot of drills going on at one time. It's organized chaos. And so we need everyone to be able to pitch in and help us prepare, and so we can have organized practice.
As it becomes a coordinator, what things are you able to do when you have a cover corner like DeAndre in terms of the confidence you have that you can put him on an island and be sound?
Are you calling it Baker Island? No. We want to play a lot of tight coverage. And so we have to have corners that can play man-to-man, they can stay on top, and they can make plays on the ball at the catch point. And so he's a guy that can do that. He's proven that. Obviously, we want to continue to work to get him better every day. And as many of those guys we have, the better coverage we're going to have. So he does allow us to do some things defensively. And so Baker is one of the guys that I take a lot of pride in, and I'm very proud of what he's done because he's worked himself into what he is today as a player. He works really hard in practice. He's developed in the meeting room. He's emerged as a leader for us, and I'm just really excited to see what he does this season.
Specifically, where does Jay Hayes fit in, and can you talk a little bit about that nose guard position and how you see that stacking?
Yeah, I really see him in pass rush situations being an inside pass rusher. I'm not sure how much nose he's going to play. Okay, more 3 technique and more end, depending on the front. But he has the ability to play all those spots up front. So he gives us position versatility, and he's a team guy. He's going to do whatever we ask him to do.
In nose guard in particular, there are other players there that you...
Yeah, we have guys. We have Julian Rochester. We have Tyler Clark that can play there. We have Hawkins Muckle that can play there. And we have Devontae White. We have guys that can play there. And most of our guys can play multiple positions. And so up front, a lot of the techniques carry over, from end to nose and vice versa. So we feel good there. We have to develop. We have to develop more guys that can play winning football for us inside. John Atkins was a heck of a player. He was maybe somewhat unsung, but when you go back and you watch the self-scout and you watch all the plays from the season, you see that he did a lot for us on defense. He was an anchor. You always want to be strong down the middle. So the standard has been set inside.
Wanted to ask about Otis Reese. A lot of folks I think have their own opinion about what position he was going to play. And Kirby told us back on signing day it was going to be safety. I mean, it's a big cat back there. He kind of stands out among the other guys. What have you seen from him thus far, and what's kind of your vision for him is to play in that position because he is such a big linebacker-ish type player?
Sure, I've always thought that he could play safety because he's athletic. And he's got good change of direction. He's got good ball skills. He's got good range in the deep part of the field, and he's a good tackler. So I don't see where there's any limitations on what position he can play in our secondary relative to safety. And I feel good about that. I'm used to playing with big safeties. I remember a guy we all know here, Sean Jones, with the Cleveland Browns. That joker was a nice-sized guy now. He's a pretty big guy, and he hit you. And so, and OT's done a great job since he's been here. He's picking up things well. He practices really hard. He gives tremendous effort. And I'm really excited to see when the pass come on, what he does.
Hey Mel, Jonathan Ledbetter's coming into his final season potential, which is the start of Jonathan's career. It was not ideal off the field. What happened with him through time that sort of made him grow up, or whatever you want to call it? I
think it's just a credit to him. He's a good kid. He's a good young man, and he's always been that. And so I think he's learned from the past, and we've encouraged him to develop and move forward and get better and better every day, make good decisions, become a leader for our team, become a better football player, work in the weight room, do all those things. And we have a program here that, with our support staff and our player development and all of our coaches and our people at the academic center, we have a program where we expect guys to progress and mature and get better. And we take pride in that. And he's a prime example of a guy that was at this point, and now he's here because he's bought into our program.
When Coach, come back to DeAndre Baker for a second, you said he's becoming more of a leader this year. How have you seen him kind of embrace that role? It kind of seems like he'd be more of a lead by example type. Do you see the same kind of thing?
Yeah, he's more of a lead by example type. But those type of guys that don't say a lot, when they do speak, everyone listens, and he's that type of guy. And so, and sometimes, he has a really good feel for his teammates. He's like, know your personnel. So if he needs to get on a guy, in front of other guys, he'll do that. He may need to pull a guy to the side and get a one-on-one. He'll do that. And that's a sign of a good leader.
When you got into the coaching profession, did you ever imagine how salaries for coordinators would escalate, and does there come any more pressure on you knowing that, given that salary?
No, I never envisioned that. I've never been in it for the money, and I really don't think about it very much. My passion is coaching, teach, motivate, and develop players, and I enjoy doing that. And as long as I enjoy doing that, that's as long as I'm going to coach.
Coach, forgive me this somewhat repetitive question. I didn't cover this team last year, but the Auburn game, I look at the rushing yards. Was that a matter of one-on-ones? Was it a scheme type of deal? Obviously,
which Auburn game?
The first game at Auburn. Was that getting beat in one-on-ones? Was it a scheme deal? And how do you make changes when you play those sort of power teams with that kind of talent?
Yeah, we didn't play very disciplined in that game. We got pushed around a little bit in that game, and so when you are undisciplined and you're not stout as you need to be, then people are going to run the ball on you. We made some adjustments. We know that we had the guys to be able to stop that run, and the next time we played them a lot better.
We're going to ask about DeAndre again. You talked about his development. When you got here, did you see any sign of this, of him being like potential All-American? We're talking about him as a first-round pick. I don't know if you think that's like overstating it for him, but did you see that he could be this good?
Well, the first day I saw him, and we were in our off-season program. I saw him doing some of the drills, and I pulled him over and I said, "Hey, I think you can be a heck of a player here. You're 6 feet tall. You're the fastest guy out here. You got good change of direction. You got great length." And I said, "I really believe that you can do something here." That's all you got to do is listen, pay attention, do what I ask you to do what we ask you to do, and that's what he did. And so, that's it's a credit to him. You develop players along the way. Guys buy into our program, and so now whether he's a first-round pick or not, who knows? We don't know that. But the focus right now for him is to get better each and every day. Work on the details, technique and fundamentals. Doing the things that got you to this point, and then taking it up a notch. That's what we want to do with him.
There's another guy, J.R. Reed, seems to be wanting to step in more of that leadership role. What have you seen from him over the summer, and how have you seen him take those steps to be more of a leader?
Yeah, JR is another guy who stepped up as a leader for us. He's comfortable with his teammates. He's established himself as a player that can produce on the field. He gives great effort. He does really well in the meeting room. Takes good notes. He's very unselfish. He helps other players, and he's just his character. I mean, he's an impeccable guy, you know, with ability, and he's got a really good pedigree for the game of football. So he's another guy that we're leaning on for leadership. And I'll say this: we tell our guys all the time, you know, you don't have to just be a senior or necessarily even a starter. You know, leadership comes from all different areas. If you have the ability to lead and affect someone else in a positive way, then do that. And we encourage that.
With Tyson Campbell, who is he competing with? What kind of role do you envision for him if he's a player that you guys thought he wasn't exciting?
Yeah, Tyson is playing corner right now, and right now we're probably going to play him at one position. And so all the corners on our roster, he's competing with those guys. And all of our guys know we're going to play the best players. We give guys lots of opportunities to show what they can do. We have a lot of two-spot drills. We take a lot of reps. We coach every player, whether it's a walk-on or a senior, the stars and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. We coach everyone the same. We're trying to develop as many players as we can so we have the best football team that we can have. And so, you know, we'll see what happens. He'll get what he deserves.
Got time for 2 more questions.
Not to make it a dead start question, but with Tyson just being a corner, I guess not at star right now, is star going to be not a way to get like 3 cornerbacks on the field all the time, as in if you like Tyreek and Mark also in addition to DeAndre?
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on the situation. You know, we've at the star position, we've had linebackers there. We've had a certain first and second down type of star, and then we've had more of a coverage star. And so when it all shakes out, our job is to find out who are the best guys to put out there, and then do what they can do. And so, you know, we have total flexibility in that, but we also have a starting point. Okay, and then we go from there. We have scrimmage 1, and then we have scrimmage 2. We start to make decisions on who we think can help us. And if we need to move a guy inside in the slot, we'll do that.
Ask you about Tyreek. Obviously, he spent a lot. He started a game for you corner last year. He played a lot of star before that. And Kirby said yesterday he's going to be working at safety. So, I mean, what kind of, I guess, kind of joker in the deck, I guess, for you, if you make the card analogy, is that for you guys to kind of have that guy that you trust to learn all those spots mentally, physically, all those things?
That's huge if you have a utility guy like that that's a good player. And you don't want to be a jack of all trades, a master of none. So it takes a unique type of guy to be able to play multiple positions and be able to produce at a high level. And we think Tyreek is that type of player. And so far,